Hey guys, welcome back to What's Up Weekly. So far we've got the joists in, almost all of them. Still got to frame a little landing section at that end. I bought this wood probably a couple weeks ago, anticipating that I'd be further ahead than I am, obviously, like I always do. And so the wood sat kind of stickered up on my lawn here in the sun. It's been cooking hot, and so you can see that a lot of them have turned into hockey sticks. Got some pretty good twists on them, but we'll be able to straighten those out when we put the ledger boards on there, so it's not too big of a deal. But if you are planning on framing stuff and you're getting your wood, it'll likely be green from the lumber yard, so put a tarp over it or put it in a shady space if you're not going to be framing with it right away. There's a little tip for you. I've got the section of the deck where the addition is going to go framed. Those are 2x12s, and then there's going to be a little 2-inch step down to the 2x10 section of the deck, which I'm going to be sheeting as well with plywood, putting a waterproof membrane on, and then tiling that deck so that the whole underside of this deck will be completely waterproof, dry, usable space. And I'm going to put some tongue and groove with some lights on the bottom so that this is a really nice outdoor space that can be used, well into the fall and in the spring when you get lots of rains, at least here anyways. So what I've done here is I've run all my joists long. I've just put them up as full 14-foot lengths, and anybody who's used lumber store wood, it's not exactly 14 feet. It'll be 14 foot, half an inch, or 3/4 of an inch, or 1/4 of an inch. It's all kind of random, so I just throw them up long. And then now that they're in place, I'm going to set them on their layout, and then I'm going to pull a measurement off this end at 14 foot, 1.5 inches. That adds the ledger board in, and then I'm going to snap a line across all the ends of these with my incline, and that way I know I've got a perfectly straight line that I'm going to then trim off all the ends in place with a little battery-powered circular saw. That way I know the front edge of my deck is perfectly straight, because if you just measure your joists and cut them all the same length, if your house has got a WUW in it, and the framing of your house is crooked, that's just going to telegraph to the front of your deck. So whenever you're building a deck or anything, just run your joists wild, snap a line end to end, that way you have a perfect straight front edge of your deck. Little framing tip for you. Now my new word's perfect. Perfectly straight, deadly straight, straight. You know what I'm saying. Let's get to work. So I've got my glue down here, as you can see, just using some PL 400. There we go. So because we're using PL, ideally glue and screw is the best, but with this polyurethane subfloor, all you need, I'm using ring shank nails, which are also super strong nails. So I'm just using the ring shank nails and the glue. If you screw it down, technically you don't even need glue. Screw and glue is obviously the best you can do. But if you got the glue, nails are just fine. And they save you a lot of time. You can see that the factory, when they make plywood, the machines or whatever, I don't know if they do it intentionally, but I think they do, is they got all these lines running across the plywood. So you don't need to lay out where your joists are. If you just follow the line and your joists are straight, you can have a nail line right there just by referencing the machine marks on the plywood. Saves you a ton of time. When you're nailing stuff down, you just follow those lines. Oh. So if you hook on the center of your joint right there, and you just mark, find your center for your joist, go back 3/4, right? Put a little X, 63 1/4, X, 79 1/4, X. And then you just move your joists until they line up with your lines, nail them in place, and then finish off nailing them. Four and a quarter. We're square to the end of the plywood there. Another thing you can do is you just stand yourself right over top of your joist. Just swing your arm down. Use your gun as a line that way. Kind of let your arm just be like a pendulum. And once that glue's dry, I'll come back, trim this off tomorrow. I'm going to leave my plywood hanging over 2 inches because I got a 2-inch fascia that I'm going to butt up underneath that. And then I'm going to flash over top of the fascia and then set that flashing in mortar. So I'm going to mortar down like just a fine tooth 3/16 trowel and set the flashing into that mortar, and then I'm going to mortar over top of that, put the Schluter membrane over that so I have a waterproof membrane overlapping my drip flashing over the edge of my deck. Then I'm going to put my tile on top of that and have some sort of a bull nose edge. So this deck is going to be skookum choocher when I'm done. Oh yeah, you New Zealander, you Kiwi boys, I know what you're thinking. That guy's got a big dick. Sure do. Should probably think about putting some sealant on that dick. Anyways, things are coming along nicely. I've left these landing rafter joists, whatever you call them here, running wild. I'm gonna lay out, start framing up my my landing for my stairs. So I'll plumb that up to the deck and plot out my rise and run, and then I'll be able to cut my landing to the right length, right, so that my stairs land perfectly on there, turn, and then come down here. Get all my heights figured out for that, trim off this plywood. Another cool tip that will save you a ton of time if you're doing a deck similar to this via either vinyl or waterproof tile, floating deck, whatever. When you're doing the underside, if you're going to be putting soffitting underneath there, go ahead and when you set up your beam, shoot your beam 3/4 of an inch or whatever material you're going to use. The thickness of that material, drop your beam that thickness. I've got a 3/4 inch strip running up on top of that beam there, which leaves me a nice little gap for me to slip my tongue and groove right in behind the beam. So I don't have to try and cut my piece of soffitting tight up against the beam. It'll just slide in right past. It saves you so much time, looks so much better, and it's just do it. It's a no-brainer, okay? The crazy part is going to be how do I tie in my roof rafters into this existing torch-on roof. So I'm probably going to call my buddy Caleb, who is a roofer here locally, has his own company, Custom Roofing, and see if I can wrangle him out for an hour or two so he can give me a tutorial on how I'm going to tie in the valleys and the torch-on to the old torch-on. Because I've done shingle roofs, I know how to do that, but I've never tied in a torch-on roof and how to get that in there and do all the folds and stuff properly with the torch-on, because that stuff's like melted onto the roof already. I don't even know. So I'm gonna get him over. He's gonna show us how to tie in the torch-on low slope roof to the other roof. It's gonna be awesome. And once I get the roof tied in and watertight, I'm laughing. It's just on the home stretch, easy peasy. That's just the main stressful part. Windows are showing up tomorrow. Still gotta wait a little bit for the French doors, so I gotta get this thing framed up so I can slam in some windows. Yeah. Till then, samurai out. Till then, when's then? I don't even know when then. Until next time, samurai out.